A raindrop is not shaped like a tear.
Your nervous system trusts the rain.
A cloud is nothing more than patience.
Listen, can you hear it?
Close your eyes. There is nothing you need to do right now. Nowhere to be. Nothing to remember, nothing to plan, nothing to carry. Tonight belongs entirely to you, and tonight, we are going to listen to the rain. Let the darkness behind your eyelids soften. Feel it, feel how it is not empty, but full, the way the sky is full even on the clearest night. Full of possibility. Full of quiet. Full of everything that does not ask anything of you. Breathe in slowly. Fill your lungs as gently as you would fill a glass of water, no rush, no force, just a quiet rising. Inhale, slowly, deeply, feel your chest lift like a slow wave rising toward a shore. Exhale, and feel the wave pull back, leaving the sand smooth and bare and perfectly still. Somewhere very close to you, perhaps just beyond the glass of your window, rain is falling tonight. Or perhaps you only imagine it, and that is enough, because your body does not know the difference between the rain that falls outside and the rain you hear in your mind. Both are real. Both are medicine. Listen. Can you hear it? That soft percussion against the world, that ancient, unhurried drumming. It is not loud. It does not demand. It simply falls, the way it has always fallen, the way it was falling before there was a single human ear to receive it. The sound comes in layers, if you listen closely enough. There is the high, bright tap of a drop against glass, a small, delicate thing, like the touch of a single finger. And beneath that, a lower sound, a rush and whisper, the sound of thousands of drops blending together into something that is no longer individual drops but a voice, a continuous murmuring. And beneath even that, a deeper stillness, the hush that rain makes of the world, muffling the edges of everything, softening all the sounds that are not rain into a gentle, formless background. Let your body sink into whatever is beneath you. Feel the weight of your limbs, real, solid, warm. You do not have to hold yourself up. The bed is doing that. The earth is doing that. You only have to let go, just a little, just enough to feel the gentle pull downward, the sweet heaviness of a body that is beginning to rest. Inhale, let your breath rise like mist from a quiet lake at dawn. Exhale, and let it go. Let it drift. Let it dissolve into the dark. Tonight, there is a story to tell you. It is the story of rain, where it comes from, how old it is, what it carries, what it knows. It is not a story that will excite you. It is a story that will settle you, like silk drifting slowly to the bottom of a still, deep pool. You do not need to hold on to any of it. The words are not important. Let them pass through you like light through water, touching everything, changing the color of everything, without needing to be caught or remembered or held. You are warm. You are safe. The rain is falling. And the world, for now, is very, very quiet. Feel the air around you, the temperature of it, neither too cool nor too warm. Feel it against your skin the way the air feels after a rain has begun and the world has shifted, as though a door has been opened somewhere and a long-held breath has finally been released. That is what rain does. It releases the held breath of the atmosphere. The pressure that has been building, the static tension of clouds heavy with what they have been carrying, all of it releases, falls, becomes something gentle and soft and kind. You are doing the same thing now. Releasing. The tension in your jaw, you may not have known it was there, can soften now. Let your teeth part slightly, let the muscles of your face unclench like a fist slowly opening. Your brow, smooth it, not by effort, but by permission. You have permission to unclench. You have permission to stop bracing. Inhale, long and slow, the way a cloud drifts across an open sky. Exhale, feel your shoulders melt, just slightly, just a little further toward the softness beneath you. Rain has been falling on this earth for longer than you can imagine. Longer than this city. Longer than any city. Longer than any language, any story, any dream. And yet here it is, still falling, still soft, still arriving the way it has always arrived, without announcement, without apology, without expectation. You are held within that long continuity tonight. You are part of it. A quiet, breathing part of it. The rain falls. Your body rests. And the night, slow and merciful, begins to deepen. Let your hands relax. Feel the weight of your fingers, they have been working, holding, reaching, all day long. Let them rest now, curled softly, or open and loose, however they wish to be. There is nothing for them to hold tonight. Let the rain take the weight of consciousness from you, little by little, the way a river slowly wears the edge of a stone, not in one moment, but in 1,000 gentle moments, each one invisible, each one inevitable. Inhale, quietly, gently, as though you are breathing the smell of rain itself. Exhale, and let your thoughts drift, the way a leaf drifts on the surface of a rain-fed stream, carried by something deeper than intention, moving towards somewhere quiet, somewhere still. You are already halfway there. You may not feel it yet, but the distance between waking and sleeping has already begun to close. The rain is helping. The dark is helping. And the warm, slow weight of your own body is helping, pulling you gently down, down, down toward the soft, wordless place where sleep begins. We are going to travel together tonight, through the science and the wonder and the ancient, unhurried truth of rain. And with every word, with every slow breath, with every soft tap of water against the world outside, you will drift a little further into the kind of rest that heals, the kind of sleep that restores, the kind of quiet that stays with you, even after morning comes. For now, simply listen. Simply breathe. Simply be. The rain is falling. And all is well. Every raindrop on your window tonight was once part of an ocean. Let that settle for a moment, not as a fact to be filed away, but as a feeling. A feeling of vast connection. Of things that seem separate being, at their deepest level, the same. The rain that falls on your roof, on your garden, on the quiet streets of your sleeping city, has traveled further than you could walk in a lifetime. It has been something else before, many things before. And it will be something else again, after tonight. This is the water cycle, though that name makes it sound mechanical, clinical, when in truth it is something closer to a poem. A love story, perhaps, between water and sky, endlessly repeated, never exactly the same. Inhale, slowly. Imagine breathing in the faintest trace of the ocean, salt and depth and the smell of something very, very old. Exhale, and let the breath go, returning it to the air, the way water always returns. It begins at the surface of the sea. Imagine an ocean, vast, pewter gray, moving with the slow, muscular swells of deep water. The sun touches the surface, and the water responds. Molecules at the very surface, warmed by that light, begin to loosen from each other. They rise, invisible, weightless, a vapor so fine it cannot be seen. They become part of the air. They are the air, for a time, indistinguishable from it, dissolved into its invisible body. This process has no urgency. It does not rush. The sun warms the water, and the water rises, slowly, in its own time, on its own terms. This is evaporation, and it is happening continuously, over every ocean, every lake, every river, every damp field and wet leaf and flooded valley on earth. An endless, silent rising. Feel your own body's warmth, now. Feel how your skin is a kind of surface, warm and alive. Feel how the air around you touches you, holds you, surrounds you the way the atmosphere surrounds the ocean. You, too, are part of this cycle, exhaling moisture, radiating warmth, participating in the great slow turning of water through the world. Inhale, feel your ribs expand, make space for something larger than thought. Exhale, slowly, let your body release, let it soften, let it settle. The vapor rises high into the atmosphere, higher than mountains, higher than the flight of birds, higher than any sound from the surface can reach. Up there, the air is cold, and cold changes things. As the vapor rises, it cools, and as it cools, it remembers what it used to be. It begins to condense, to gather itself back into water, but water so small, so impossibly light, that it floats. These are cloud droplets. Each one is 100 times smaller than a raindrop. Each one is invisible alone. But together, millions of them, billions, they become visible. They become the white and gray and silver architecture of clouds. Clouds. Think of them now, not as flat, static shapes in a painting, but as living things, slow and enormous and constantly changing. They are always moving, always shifting, always growing heavier or lighter or wider or taller. They are the middle chapter of water's long story. The pause between ocean and rain. Your body is pausing, too. Your breath is slowing, finding its rhythm, finding the pace that bodies find when they are safe and warm and beginning to let go of the day. Inhale, feel the warmth move through you, the quiet warmth of a body at rest. Exhale, and let gravity do what it has always done, draw you gently down, hold you close, keep you here. Inside a cloud, the droplets are not still. They drift and bump and merge, two becoming one becoming slightly larger, the slightly larger one attracting others. This is how rain is made, not all at once, not by any single dramatic event, but by accumulation. By the patient adding of small things to other small things until there is enough weight, enough substance, to fall. There is something beautiful in that patience. Something that resonates with the way rest works, too, not all at once, not in a single moment of surrender, but in small accumulations of relaxation. A muscle releasing here. A thought dissolving there. The jaw unclenching. The brow smoothing. The breath slowing, one exhale at a time, until there is enough quiet, enough softness, to sleep. You are doing it now. Accumulating rest. Building toward sleep the way a cloud builds toward rain, quietly, inevitably, without effort. Feel how heavy your limbs have grown already. That heaviness is not tiredness, or not only tiredness. It is the pleasant weight of a body that is finally, fully still. A body that has stopped bracing. A body that has decided, however quietly, however unconsciously, to trust the surface beneath it, to trust the night, to trust the darkness, to trust the rain. Inhale, let your lungs fill with something that feels almost like relief. Exhale, feel the release move through your chest, your belly, your legs, all the way to the soles of your feet. The cloud grows heavier. The droplets grow larger. And at some point, a point that cannot be predicted or forced, only awaited, gravity wins. The drop falls. It begins its long journey back to the earth. It falls through cold air, through warm air, through the turbulence of wind and the stillness of windless corridors high above the world. It gathers speed, but not too much. The air slows it, cushions it, so that by the time it arrives it is gentle. Not a crash but a touch. A tap. A soft arrival. That is what you are hearing, right now. Arrivals. Thousands of soft arrivals, every second. Water that rose from the ocean weeks or months ago, that traveled on the wind across distances you could not walk, that waited in a cloud above you, arriving, finally, here. On your window. On your street. On the leaves of the tree outside. Arriving gently, completely, without fuss. And then, slowly, it will seep into the ground. It will be drunk by roots. It will flow into streams, streams into rivers, rivers into the sea. And it will rise again. But that is later. That is tomorrow, or next year, or a century from now. Tonight, it is simply rain. Simply the soft sound of water finding its way home. And you are finding your way, too, your way toward sleep, toward the deep and quiet country that your body has been waiting all day to return to. You are nearly there. You are drifting. The rain is carrying you. Inhale, one long, slow breath, drawn from the quiet. Exhale, and go a little further. Let the words blur. Let the images soften. Let the sound of rain be the only thing. You are warm. You are heavy. You are held. And the water, as it always has, is falling. Before there were ears to hear it, rain fell. Before there were windows to tap against, before there were rooftops or roads, before there were trees or grass or soil, before the first living thing lifted its face toward the sky, rain fell. And the young earth received it. And the oceans formed. We are going to travel back now, very far back, to a time so ancient that the numbers become meaningless, 4 billion years ago, 3.5 billion, deeper than history, deeper than any story that has been told. You do not need to hold the numbers. Simply feel the vastness of that time, the way you feel the vastness of the ocean at night when you cannot see the far shore. Simply let it be large and ancient, and somehow, impossibly, connected to this moment, to this room, to this breath, to this soft weight of your body against the bed. Inhale, slowly. Imagine breathing in air that is ancient, cool, clean with the smell of a world that has just begun. Exhale, let it go. Let the centuries pass like breath. The earth was young once, and it was nothing like the earth you know. It was a planet of fire and rock, its surface still molten, still settling into itself, still deciding what shape it wanted to be. Volcanoes erupted across every surface, filling the atmosphere with gases, water vapor, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, the raw materials of a world still under construction. The sky was not blue then. It was thick and orange and heavy with ash and gas, and it pressed down on the molten rock like a lid on a pot. And slowly, over millions of years, in the deep patience of geological time, the surface began to cool. Feel what cooling feels like in your own body now. The way muscles release as warmth settles in. The way the skin softens when it is no longer braced against cold. The way the mind quiets when the urgency of the day has finally, fully passed. Cooling is a kind of settling. A kind of arrival. Inhale, let your breath be slow and even, like the slow cooling of the world. Exhale, feel everything that was tight begin to loosen, begin to rest. As the Earth's surface cooled below a critical temperature, something remarkable happened. The water vapor in that ancient atmosphere, all that steam from all those volcanoes, that vast invisible reservoir of potential water, began to condense. Began to become liquid. And it fell. The first rain on Earth was not gentle. It was torrential, a rain that modern weather forecasters could not name or categorize, a rain that fell for thousands of years without stopping. It was hot, acidic, violent. It was not the soft sound you are hearing now. It was a roar, a deluge, a transformation. It scoured the rock and filled the basins and carved the first channels in the first stone. And slowly, as the rain fell and the water collected, the oceans formed. Not all at once, not in a single great filling, but gradually, puddle becoming pool, pool becoming lake, lake becoming sea. The water arrived and it stayed. And in those first warm, chemical-rich oceans, something else eventually happened, something even more remarkable, something we still do not fully understand, but we can feel its consequence right now, in the fact that you are here, breathing, listening. Life began. You are the consequence of that first rain. The water in your body, in your blood, in your cells, in the soft tissue of your brain, is descended from that ancient deluge. It has been cycling through the world for billions of years, passing through oceans and clouds and rivers and living things and back to oceans, and tonight, some of it is falling outside your window, and some of it is resting inside you, and it is all the same water, part of the same story, and the story is very, very long, and you are only a small and precious part of it. Inhale, feel that ancientness in the breath. Feel the long history of the air you are breathing. Exhale, feel yourself release into that continuity, that long, long story that has been unfolding since before there were words. There is something deeply settling about that thought, or not a thought, exactly, but a feeling. The feeling of being part of something older than worry. Older than whatever kept you awake last night, older than whatever is on your mind tonight. The concerns of a single human life, as real and important as they are, become very small against the scale of 4 billion years of rain. You do not disappear in that smallness. You become more restful. It is the same feeling as lying on your back and looking at the stars. The way the enormity of the sky does not make you feel insignificant so much as it makes you feel released. Released from the pressure of being the most important thing in the universe. Released into being simply a small, warm, breathing part of a very large and very ancient world. Let your body feel that release now. Let your shoulders sink. Let your legs grow heavy and still as old stone. Let the hand that is perhaps gripping the blanket, or curled slightly in readiness for something that will not come tonight, let it open, just a little. Let it rest. Inhale, slowly, gently. There is all the time in the world. Exhale, even more slowly. 4 billion years of time. You have enough. The first rain fell, and the earth received it. The first oceans formed, and life began. And from that ancient beginning, through all the long ages of the world, through ice ages and warm ages, through extinctions and bloomings, through the slow rise of mountains and the slow wearing away of mountains, the rain kept falling. Every century, every year, every night, including tonight. The rain falling outside your window is part of a lineage that reaches back to the very beginning of this planet's story. It has been doing this since before there were creatures to take shelter from it. Since before there were seasons. Since before there was soil. It is, perhaps, the oldest continuous event on Earth, this falling, this arriving, this gentle return. And here you are, in the middle of it. Warm and still and beginning to drift. The ancient rain is falling, and the ancient rhythm of sleep is rising to meet it, the way the tide rises to meet the shore, inevitable, unhurried, perfectly timed. Let your mind go quiet now. Let the words I am speaking become simply sounds, like the rain itself, not information to be processed, but texture, warmth, accompaniment. Background for the deeper thing that is happening, which is your body letting go, your mind releasing its grip, your breath deepening toward the slow and beautiful country of sleep. Inhale, one last conscious breath. Draw it in gently, the way the young earth drew in its first rain. Exhale, and let it fall. Let it return. Let it rest. You are ancient and you are safe. The rain has been falling for 4 billion years. It will fall tonight while you sleep. It will fall after you wake. And in its falling, there is something that has always been, and always will be, deeply, profoundly all right. A cloud is nothing more than patience. Hold that thought for a moment, without examining it too closely. Simply let it rest against the walls of your mind, the way the rain rests against the window, lightly, gently, without pressure. A cloud is patience made visible. Millions of tiny water droplets waiting together, not anxiously, not urgently, but with the deep and extraordinary stillness of things that do not know they are waiting. We are going to follow a single water droplet tonight. One small, invisible thing. And we are going to watch it become part of something larger, part of a cloud, part of rain, part of the cycle that is as old as the ocean. And as we watch it, you can feel yourself doing the same, becoming part of something larger than the individual thoughts and worries and to-do lists and memories that have been filling your mind today. Dissolving gently into the quiet hole of the night. Inhale, feel yourself rise slightly on the breath, the way a molecule of vapor rises from the surface of a warm lake. Exhale, and drift, just a little, just enough. Our droplet begins in the ocean, a single molecule of water, bonded to billions of others, moving with the slow rhythms of the deep. The sun warms the surface and our droplet is energized, it loosens its bonds, breaks free of the surface tension, and rises. It is invisible now. It is vapor. It moves with the air, carried on currents that travel hundreds of miles, that cross mountain ranges and coasts and the invisible borders between weather systems. It rises into cooler air. And here, it needs something to do what comes next. It needs a particle, a tiny fragment of dust, or sea salt, or pollen, or smoke, carried on the same winds. When our droplet finds such a particle, something remarkable happens, it attaches to it. It wraps itself around that tiny seed and becomes, for the first time, a liquid again, a microscopically small liquid droplet, not vapor anymore, but something between vapor and rain. This is condensation. This is how clouds are seeded. You do not have to understand it. You only have to feel it, the way scattered things find their center. The way a long, busy day eventually finds its end. The way your breath, over the last few minutes, has found its natural, slow rhythm, not forced, not counted, simply found. Inhale, feel the air fill the whole of your lungs, reaching into the deep places, the quiet corners. Exhale, let it all release. Every bit of it. Let the lungs go soft and empty for just a moment, like a cloud that has just let go of its rain. Our droplet, now attached to its particle, joins millions of others doing the same thing in the same column of air. Together, though they do not choose it, though there is no intention in it, only the simple physics of temperature and pressure, they form a cloud. Not immediately visible, at first. More like a thickening of the air, a slight haze. But as more droplets join, as the cloud rises higher and grows denser, it becomes what you have seen from the ground, white and rounded at the top, flat at the bottom, enormous in a way that is hard to comprehend from below. From inside a cloud, it looks like fog. A soft, close, white fog, with no edges, no walls, no ceiling, just soft whiteness in every direction. If you could stand in a cloud, you would feel the tiniest droplets against your skin, lighter than the finest mist, cooler than indoor air, and the world below you would be gone, replaced by this soft, enveloping whiteness that seems to go on forever in every direction. It is, in its way, very much like the feeling of falling asleep. The edges of the room softening. The shapes becoming less distinct. The sense of the world's hard edges, its sharp right angles and urgent sounds and pressing demands, becoming muffled, softened, replaced by something that is not quite darkness and not quite light, but something gentle and undefined between them. Inhale, let your breath be the softest thing. Let it be mist. Exhale, and let the world's edges soften. Let the room become gentle. Let the dark behind your eyelids be a cloud, wide and white and peaceful. Inside the cloud, the droplets are not still. They are constantly moving, drifting, colliding, merging. When two droplets meet, they become one larger droplet. And that larger droplet moves through the cloud, meeting others, merging with them, growing. This is coalescence, the coming together of small things into something larger, something heavy enough to matter, heavy enough to fall. It takes time. Inside a cloud, a droplet might grow for 30 minutes, or for hours, before it is large enough to fall. The cloud holds it, carries it, sustains it. The cloud is patient. The cloud does not rush. And neither do you, tonight. There is no rush. Sleep comes in its own time, the same way rain comes in its own time, not by effort, not by will, but by accumulation. You are accumulating rest. You are coalescing. Each breath is adding weight to the restful side of the equation, tipping the balance, slowly, inevitably, towards sleep. Feel how heavy your limbs are. Feel the pleasant, grounding weight of them against the mattress. Your legs, heavy as rain-soaked earth. Your arms, still and dense and warm. Your chest, rising and falling with that slow, easy rhythm that says, I am safe. I am resting. I am here. Inhale, feel the weight of your body, not as burden, but as anchor. As the sweetest kind of gravity. Exhale, sink a little more. The bed receives you. The night receives you. There is nowhere else to be. The droplet grows. And grows. And then, though nothing seems to change in the moment, though there is no announcement, no signal, no edge, the droplet is too heavy to stay. Gravity, gentle and inevitable, takes it. It begins to fall. And as it falls, it is no longer alone. All around it, other droplets that have been growing in the same cloud, at the same pace, in the same patient accumulation, they are falling too. And together, they are rain. The cloud does not resist this. The cloud does not try to hold on. It simply lets go, the way an exhale lets go, the way sleep lets go of the day, without drama, without loss, with only the quiet rightness of something arriving at its natural conclusion. You are arriving at your natural conclusion tonight. The day has been breathed through and released. The thinking has been thought, the worrying has been worried, and all of it is dissolving now, the way clouds dissolve after rain, leaving only the clear, clean air, and the smell of the world made fresh, and the particular quiet that follows when something that was heavy has finally, fully fallen. Inhale, for the last time, consciously. Feel the breath fill you. Exhale, and let the weight of you fall. Let yourself be rain. Let yourself dissolve into the sound of it, the soft continuous sound of the world being gently, endlessly, kindly water. You are a cloud that has let go. And what comes next is sleep. There is a smell that stops you. You may have noticed it 1,000 times in your life, though you may not have known its name. You are walking down a street, or standing in a garden, or looking out an open window, and something shifts in the air, something earthy and clean and deep, something that smells the way the color green looks, if green could have a smell, and you slow down. You breathe in. Whatever you were thinking about, the errand you were running, the conversation you were replaying, it loosens its grip, just for a moment. And you are simply there, in the smell, in the moment, breathing. That smell has a name. Petrichor. It was named in 1964 by two Australian scientists, Isabel Joy Baer and Richard Thomas, who wanted to give language to something that everyone had felt but few had tried to examine. They combined the Greek word petra, meaning stone, and ichor, the fluid that was said to flow through the veins of the gods in ancient mythology. The scent of rain on dry earth. The smell of something divine, touching something ancient. Let the word settle on you now. Petrichor. Soft and rounded and strange, like a word from a dream. Petrichor. Inhale, slowly, deeply, and imagine, if you can, the smell of rain on warm, dry earth. Imagine it filling your lungs, reaching into the deepest places, touching something there that loosens. Exhale, and let the breath go, carrying with it whatever was still holding on. But where does that smell come from? What is it, exactly, that rises from the earth when rain begins to fall? Part of the answer lives in the soil. In the dark, damp world beneath our feet, in the layer of earth that is home to billions of organisms too small to see, bacteria and fungi and the roots of plants and the threads of mycelium and creatures so ancient and so simple that they were here long before the dinosaurs, there lives a bacterium called Streptomyces. It is extraordinarily common. It exists in nearly every soil on Earth, from the Arctic tundra to the tropical rainforest floor. And when conditions are right, when the soil is damp and warm, Streptomyces produces a molecule called geosmin. Geosmin. Another beautiful word, from the Greek for earth and smell. Geosmin is the molecule of the deep earth, the smell of deep time, the molecule that carries in its structure the memory of every forest floor and turned field and rain-washed garden that has ever existed. And human beings are extraordinarily sensitive to it. Some researchers estimate that humans can detect geosmin at concentrations as low as 5 parts per trillion, that is, 5 molecules of geosmin in a trillion molecules of air. We are more sensitive to geosmin than sharks are to blood. This is not coincidence. This is evolution. This is the long history of humanity's dependence on rain, on water, on fertile soil, built into our biology, our chemistry, our very cells. We are made to respond to the smell of rain. To slow down, to breathe deeply, to pay attention to the arrival of water. To feel, at some level below language and thought, that something important and good is happening. Inhale, slowly. Even without the smell of rain, your body knows what this breathing means. It has been breathing slowly and deeply for millions of years, and it knows this. Slow breath means safety. Slow breath means rest. Exhale, let the breath carry the tension of the day, the remnants of noise and urgency, out of the body, out into the dark. But geosmin is only part of the story of petrichor. The other part comes from the plants themselves. Plants produce oils, natural, complex oils that they secrete into the soil during dry periods, oils that accumulate in the top layers of the earth, waiting. When rain arrives, it does something remarkable to those oils, it releases them. The impact of a raindrop hitting dry earth sends those plant oils into the air, carried on tiny bubbles of trapped air that burst on the surface, an invisible plume, a microscopic cloud, rising from each drop's impact. So what you smell when rain falls on dry earth is not just the earth and not just the rain, it is the collaboration of rain and earth and plant, the chemistry of 3 things meeting, the scent of a relationship that is as old as flowering plants on this earth. You are smelling life, recognizing water. Your body recognizes it too. Studies have found that exposure to the smell of petrichor, or even just the thought of it, the memory of it, activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the network of signals that tells the body to rest, to digest, to repair. Heart rate slows. Cortisol decreases. Breathing deepens. The body understands that it is safe, that the water is coming, that the dry time is over. It is, perhaps, one of the oldest forms of calm. A calm written in our chemistry long before there were words to describe it. Inhale, let your body respond the way it knows how to respond to the smell of rain. Let the parasympathetic signals flow. Let the heart slow. Let the muscles release. Exhale, let the cortisol of the day dissolve. Let the vigilance of waking life dissolve. You are safe. The rain is here. The dry time is over. Feel the temperature of the air around you. Feel how the sounds of the room have quieted, or how the rain has muffled them, the way petrichor itself seems to muffle urgency, replacing it with something slower, something more patient, something that has no interest in schedules or deadlines or the weight of tomorrow. Think of the best rain you have ever walked through, or the best rain you have ever watched from a window. Think of the smell of it, that deep, earthy, somehow sweet smell that seemed to rise from the ground itself, that seemed to come from inside the earth, from somewhere deeper and older than the city, from the living, breathing soil beneath all the concrete and asphalt and construction. That smell was geosmin, rising from the ancient bacteria, meeting the oils of the plants, carried to you on the breath of a drop of rain. And now, here in the quiet of this room, with no actual rain to smell, with only the sound of it, if you close your eyes and breathe slowly, if you let yourself imagine it just a little, perhaps you can find a trace of it. In the memory. In the body's own deep knowing. Inhale, slowly, fully, as though breathing in something ancient and good. Exhale, and let yourself be, for just a moment, the person standing in the garden, or looking out the window, who has just noticed the smell of rain, and has, without deciding to, slowed down. That is what sleep is, in a way. The body deciding, without your conscious permission, to slow down. To release the tight grip on waking. To let the smell of petrichor fill the room of the mind, and to breathe it in, and to let it do what it has always done, calm, settle, return. You are returning now. To something older than today. To the deep, chemical quiet of a body that has decided to rest. The smell of rain is in your memory. Your body knows what it means. And the knowing is carrying you, quietly, towards sleep. Your nervous system trusts the rain. Not consciously, you have not made a decision to trust it, have not weighed the evidence and concluded that rain is safe. The trust is older than decisions. It lives in the part of your brain that is older than language, older than logic, in the deep, ancient structures that have been doing their job since long before there were humans doing the jobs that humans do now. That deep part of your brain hears the rain, and it says, yes. This is all right. This is known. You can rest. We are going to spend some time with the science of this, with what the rain does to your brain, and your body, and the slow, chemical unfolding of the sleep state. But I want you to let the science wash over you like the rain itself, not as something to be analyzed or understood, but as something to be felt, to be absorbed, to deepen the permission your body is already giving itself to let go. Inhale, slowly. Fill your lungs completely. Feel the expansion in your chest, your ribs, your belly. Hold it for just a moment. Exhale, very slowly. Release all of it. Feel the belly fall, the ribs narrow, the chest soften. Feel the exhale last a little longer than the inhale. This is the rhythm of rest. What you are hearing right now, the sound of rain, is what scientists call pink noise. Pink noise is different from white noise, though the two are often confused. White noise contains equal energy at every frequency. It is flat, featureless, the sound of static. Pink noise has more energy at lower frequencies and less at higher ones. It has texture, warmth, a quality that is closer to the sounds that nature actually makes. The sound of wind through leaves, of waves on a beach, of a river over stones. Of rain. Pink noise matches the natural frequency patterns of the brain more closely than white noise does. It synchronizes with the brain's own rhythms, the way two pendulums in the same room will eventually begin to swing in time with each other. When you listen to pink noise, your brainwaves begin to slow. The fast, jagged frequencies of alert thought, the beta waves that dominate your waking mind, the waves that accompany planning and worrying and remembering and anticipating, begin to give way to slower, wider waves. These slower waves are called alpha waves. Alpha waves are the signature of relaxation, not sleep yet, but the beautiful territory between waking and sleep, the threshold state where the mind is quiet but still present, where thoughts slow to the pace of clouds rather than the pace of conversation, where the body is still and warm and the breath is deep and easy. Inhale, and feel yourself in that threshold state. Not fully asleep, but no longer fully awake. Drifting. Warm. Easy. Exhale, let the alpha waves carry you a little further. Let the brain's own slow rhythm take over, the way the rain's rhythm has already taken over the sound of the room. Beyond alpha, there are slower waves still, theta waves, the waves of light sleep, of hypnagogia, of the half-dream state where images form and dissolve and the ordinary logic of waking life no longer applies. And beyond theta, the deepest sleep of all, the delta waves, slow and enormous, the waves of dreamless sleep, of the deep restoration that the brain and body perform while you are completely unconscious. This is where the cerebrospinal fluid washes through the brain, carrying away the metabolic waste products of a day of thinking. This is where growth hormone is released, and memories are consolidated, and the immune system repairs what needs repairing. All of that is waiting for you, on the other side of the sound of rain. But there is another reason why the brain loves the rain, beyond the frequency of the sound. The rain creates a kind of auditory cocoon. It fills the space between sounds, the gaps where an unexpected noise might startle you, where a distant sound might pull your attention up and outward and away from the quiet inward drift toward sleep. The rain blurs those gaps. It smooths the edges of the soundscape, creates a continuous, encompassing texture that holds you, the way a weighted blanket holds you, the way the arms of someone you love hold you. Inhale, feel that holding. Feel the rain, in whatever form it comes to you, sound or memory or imagination, holding the space around you, filling it with something that is both present and soft. Exhale, sink into the held space. Let it bear your weight, the way water bears the weight of anything placed gently upon its surface. There is also something happening in your body's chemistry right now that is worth knowing, not because knowing it will help you sleep, but because it is beautiful, and because beautiful things carry their own kind of calm. When you are warm and still and breathing slowly in a dark room, your body begins to produce melatonin, the hormone of darkness, the hormone of sleep. The pineal gland, a small structure deep in the center of the brain, no larger than a grain of rice, begins to release melatonin into the bloodstream. And melatonin is the body's own permission slip. It says, the day is over. The light has gone. The time for vigilance and activity is done. Now is the time to repair, to rest, to dream. Melatonin levels are rising in you right now. Quietly, chemically, irresistibly. Your body is preparing for sleep with the same patient inevitability with which a cloud prepares for rain. Inhale, feel the warmth of your own body, the warmth of the melatonin moving through you, the chemical kindness of your own biology. Exhale, let it take over. You do not have to try to sleep. Your body is doing the work. You only have to stay still, and breathe, and listen to the rain. And then there is this. The rain, perhaps more than any other sound, carries an absence of threat. Think about the sounds that disturb sleep, sudden sounds, loud sounds, the sounds of something unexpected happening. Your brain is always, even in sleep, listening for those sounds. It is the oldest function of the sleeping brain, the watchman who never entirely sleeps, who keeps one ear to the world, ready to sound the alarm if something comes. But rain signals, nothing is coming. The rain fills the world with its own sound, and in that filled world there is no room for sudden sounds. The rain itself becomes the signal of safety. Every animal that evolved in a world with rain, and that is every land animal, and that is you, knows, at some level below thought, that when rain falls, predators take shelter, the world slows down, and it is safe to close your eyes. You are safe. The rain is telling you. Your ancient brain is hearing it. And the permission to sleep is flowing through every cell. Inhale, one last conscious breath. Let it be slow, and full, and easy. Exhale, and follow the brain waves. Follow them down. From beta to alpha to theta. From alert to relaxed to drifting. The rain will go with you. The rain goes everywhere. Right now, as you lie still in the warm dark, rain is falling somewhere in the world. Not just outside your window, everywhere. All across the earth, in 1,000 different forms, in 100 different climates, in places where the rain has a different name and a different smell and a different sound, the water cycle is turning, the clouds are releasing, and the rain is arriving. We are going to travel tonight. Not with movement, you will not move at all. You will stay exactly where you are, warm and still and safe. But in the mind, in the soft borderland between waking and sleeping, we can go anywhere. And the rain will be there when we arrive. Inhale, gently, as though breathing in the wide, salt air of a place you have always wanted to go. Exhale, let the room dissolve, just a little. Let the walls soften. Let the journey begin. Ireland. Imagine the west coast of Ireland on an October evening. The Atlantic is enormous and grey and moving in that slow, deep heaving way of the North Atlantic in autumn, a swell that takes minutes to complete itself, that has traveled thousands of miles from the open ocean, that carries in its motion the memory of storms far away. The sky is low and silver, blending at the horizon with the sea until there is no clear edge between them, only a gradual darkening. And then the rain begins. Not with a dramatic burst, it never begins dramatically in Ireland. It simply arrives. A drizzle first, the finest possible rain, a rain so light it is almost mist, that coats everything in tiny silver beads, the stone walls of the field, the dark green grass, the leaves of the hedgerows. It settles on your face like a cool, soft cloth. It smells of peat and grass and sea, a smell so specific, so deeply associated with this place and this life, that people who grew up in Ireland carry it inside them like a second home. The sound of this rain is barely a sound. A whisper. A sigh of a rain, too fine for drops, too diffuse for patter. You would have to be very quiet to hear it, and you are very quiet, and you can. Inhale the cool salt air of the Irish coast. Feel the mist on your face, light as breath. Exhale, and let the country carry you a little further. India. The Bay of Bengal. Monsoon season. If the Irish rain is a whisper, the Indian monsoon is a declaration. It arrives in June or July, after months of dry heat that has baked the earth to a pale, cracked hardness, that has drawn down the rivers to shallow threads of themselves, that has made every living thing lean and patient with waiting. And then a shift, a change in the wind direction, a lowering of the sky, a distant rumble, and the monsoon arrives. When the monsoon rains, it rains completely. The air becomes water. The distinction between rain and river and lake dissolves. Farmers who have been watching the sky for weeks break into relief so complete it looks like joy, and it is joy, a joy rooted in the knowledge that the rice fields will fill, the wells will replenish, the cattle will have water, the land will come alive again. In a small village in Kerala, a grandmother sits in the doorway of her house and watches the rain. She has seen 60 monsoons. She knows the smell of this particular rain, the way it sounds on the banana leaves, the way it makes the frogs begin their chorus in the paddy fields. She closes her eyes and listens, and she has the expression on her face that you may feel on yours right now, the expression of a person who is deeply, profoundly at rest. Inhale, feel the warmth of the tropical air, thick with moisture and the smell of wet earth. Exhale, let the monsoon sound wash over you, enormous and complete and utterly ancient. The Amazon. Late afternoon, in the deepest part of the dry season. Even in the dry season, the Amazon rainforest is not truly dry. It creates its own weather, the trees transpire so much moisture that they seed their own clouds, that the forest itself is a rain-making machine, a vast biological engine for moving water from the soil into the atmosphere and back again. The scientists who study this call it the flying river, a river of moisture that flows through the air above the forest, carrying more water than the Amazon River itself carries to the sea. In the early afternoon, the sky above the canopy is blindingly bright and blue. But by 3 or 4 in the afternoon, the clouds have built, those tall, tropical cumulus clouds, white at the top and dark at the base, clouds that grow so fast you can almost watch them rise if you lie on your back and stare upward. And then, the brief, spectacular release. The afternoon rain of the Amazon lasts perhaps 40 minutes. It is warm rain, not cold like European rain. It falls in drops so large you can feel each one individually, and it fills the forest with a roar that is somehow not frightening but overwhelming in a different way, the way music can be overwhelming when it is exactly right. And then it stops, as suddenly as it started. The clouds break. The late sun comes through, and the whole forest steams and shines and smells of something that is beyond description, green and alive and electric, the smell of a billion plants exhaling relief. Inhale, feel that tropical warmth, that green aliveness. Let your own body feel like the forest after rain, shining, relieved, thoroughly watered. Exhale, slowly. The rain is over in the Amazon, but it is beginning somewhere else. Scandinavia. November. A slow, gray, persistent rain that has been falling since morning. In Norway or Sweden or Finland in November, the rain is often indistinguishable from the general grayness of the air. It is not a dramatic rain, not a monsoon or a tropical shower. It is a rain that simply is, that has been since dawn and will continue until dark, steady and soft and utterly without urgency. The Scandinavian word for this kind of cozy indoor contentment in bad weather is hygge in Danish, or mysig in Swedish, but whatever the word, the feeling is the same. The rain outside makes the inside more inside. Makes the lamp more golden. Makes the blanket more blanket. Makes the silence between two people in a warm room more tender. Imagine that room now. A small house, or a cabin, beside a lake that has gone completely still and silver under the November rain. Inside, a lamp. A warm drink, perhaps, cooling on a table. The sound of rain on the roof, not dramatic, not insistent, simply continuous, the sound of weather doing its patient, ordinary work. Inhale, feel the warmth of that interior. Feel the lamp's light. Feel the rain make the world outside the window softer and further away. Exhale, sink into the hygge of your own room, your own bed, your own blanket. The rain makes everything more inside tonight. And there are 1,000 more rains falling tonight, in 1,000 more places. Rain on the Sahara's edge, where a rare shower turns the desert briefly, impossibly green. Rain on the rooftops of Tokyo, where it runs in 1,000 silver lines along the precise angles of the architecture. Rain on the slopes of Kilimanjaro, where it becomes snow at the summit, where it feeds the glaciers that are slowly, heartbreakingly retreating. Rain on the surface of the Pacific, where there is no one for thousands of miles to hear it fall, and it falls anyway, quietly, into the larger body of water, returning home. Inhale, feel yourself connected to all of it. Feel the rain that is falling everywhere tonight as a kind of company. You are not alone in the rain. You are with everyone who has ever listened to rain. With every creature that has ever taken shelter. Exhale, and let the journey end, here, in this room, in this warmth. Let the travels of the mind settle back into the body. Let the body settle back into the bed. Let the rain outside be the only rain, and let it be enough. It is enough. You are enough. And sleep is very close now. A raindrop is not shaped like a tear. You may have believed it was, for most of your life. Almost everyone does. In drawings and paintings and the icons on weather apps, raindrops are pointed at the top and rounded at the bottom, the classic teardrop, falling with a kind of elegant trajectory that suggests intention, direction, a self-awareness of the falling. But real raindrops are not like that at all. A small raindrop, newly fallen from a cloud, is a nearly perfect sphere. Surface tension holds it together, pulls it into the most mathematically efficient shape, the shape that minimizes the surface area for a given volume. It is a tiny, trembling globe of water, falling through the air and vibrating slightly, spinning, catching what little light is available and refracting it in all directions. As raindrops get larger, and some raindrops grow quite large before they reach the ground, the air resistance flattens the bottom. The drop becomes a shape like a small hamburger bun, or a jellyfish, flat at the base and rounded above. And the very largest drops, pushed to their limit by surface tension and air resistance, oscillate as they fall, wobbling from oblate spheroid to elongated sphere and back again, like a slow, invisible dance. Isn't that wonderful? That the simple truth of a raindrop is stranger and more beautiful than the symbol we have made for it. Inhale, slowly. Let your thoughts be like real raindrops, not the idealized kind. Let them be round and trembling and imperfect and alive. Exhale, let them fall. Let them be gone. A raindrop falls slowly. You might imagine, watching rain on a window, that the drops are falling fast, that they must be, from so high, traveling so far. But a small raindrop falls at about 5 miles per hour. A large one, at most, reaches 20 miles per hour. This is extraordinarily slow for something that has fallen from thousands of feet in the air. The reason is drag, the friction of the air around the falling drop, which limits its speed and gives it the quality of something considered, rather than something plummeting. A raindrop does not plummet. It descends. There is a difference. You are descending, too. Into sleep. Not plummeting, descending. Gently, at the pace that is right. Unhurried by any pressure from outside, simply following the natural force of rest, which is pulling you downward with the same patient insistence that gravity pulls the raindrop downward. You do not have to go faster. 5 miles per hour is exactly right. Inhale, feel the slow descent. Feel how everything is moving at just the right pace. Exhale, slower still. There is no hurry. There never was. Now consider the cloud above those drops. A single fair weather cumulus cloud, the kind you might have watched from a field on a summer afternoon, white and round-topped and endlessly changing, contains somewhere between 500 million and 1 billion pounds of water. This is not a storm cloud, not a dramatic, lightning-laden thunderhead. This is a modest, gentle cloud. And it contains 1 billion pounds of water. How does it float? How does something that weighs 500 million pounds hang in the sky? It is because the water is distributed among so many droplets, each one so incredibly small, that each droplet's rate of fall is vanishingly slow, slower than the upward movement of the warm air beneath the cloud. The cloud floats because each tiny part of it is falling, but falling so slowly that the wind catches it, supports it, keeps it aloft. The cloud is a community of falling things that, together, are not falling at all. Or not perceptibly. Not yet. There is a quiet lesson in that. In how something very heavy can feel, in the right conditions, weightless. In how many small things, each surrendering individually, can together remain suspended in a state of beautiful equilibrium. Feel your own body now. Feel the weight of your limbs. And then, imagine each small tension, each small grip, each small held place in your body, releasing. Not all at once, just each tiny thing, one at a time, like each tiny raindrop, letting go just barely. And together, all those tiny releases create the sensation of floating. Of weightlessness. Of a body that has decided, completely, to rest. Inhale, feel yourself lighten. Feel the weight redistribute itself, not pressing down but spreading out, dissolving, becoming something closer to floating than to sinking. Exhale, let the last small held things release. You are a cloud. You are composed of a billion tiny surrenders, and together they hold you beautifully in place. Here is another wonder. Rain has a sound in different places, not just different volumes, but different tones. Rain on grass sounds different from rain on water. Rain on a metal roof sounds different from rain on old wooden shingles. Rain in a forest is filtered by the canopy. The large drops hit the leaves and break into smaller drops, which then drip from the leaf edges in a secondary, quieter rain that persists for minutes after the rain itself has stopped. Rain on the surface of a lake makes a sound that is entirely its own, each drop hitting the water and creating a tiny ring, and the ring making a small sound, and a million rings together making a particular music that you can only hear when you are very close to the surface and very quiet. Have you ever heard the rain on a lake? It is one of the quietest loud sounds there is, because each drop is small but there are so many of them, and they are all on the same surface, and together they create something that is both present and somehow distant, both here and already fading, the way the border between waking and sleep is both present and fading, both real and becoming less real, dissolving into the softer country of the unconscious. Inhale, hear the rain on the lake in your mind. Hear its particular music, its quiet thousands. Exhale, and let it carry you. Let the music play and let your body follow it down. One more wonder, and then we will let the wonders go. Lightning is made by rain. Not all lightning, not all of it, but the electricity in a thunderstorm is generated by the collision of ice crystals and rain droplets within the cloud, the friction between them building an enormous charge that eventually discharges in a bolt. The drama of a thunderstorm, the violence, the light, the crack that follows, is made from the same rain that tonight is falling so gently on your window. The same water molecule that taps softly on the glass could, in different circumstances, be part of the ice crystal that produces a bolt of lightning visible from 30 miles. Rain is gentle and rain is also power. Rain is soft and rain is also ancient force. Just as you are, soft now, in this moment, in this bed, in this dark, and also, elsewhere and in other moments, capable of your own particular lightning. But not tonight. Tonight you are the gentle rain. Tonight you are the droplet descending at 5 miles per hour. Tonight you are the soft percussion on the surface of a still lake. Inhale, one soft breath. Feel the quietness of it, the gentleness, the unurgency. Exhale, and let the wonders be the last things your thinking mind holds before sleep. Let them dissolve the way the raindrop dissolves into the lake, becoming part of a larger, quieter, deeper body of water. You are dissolving into sleep. The wonders are already fading. Only the rain remains, and the warmth, and the dark. Only rest. 1,000 years ago, someone lay down just as you are now. They were somewhere else, in a room you will never see, in a city that may no longer exist, in a language that is no longer spoken. But they lay down in the dark, in the warm. And they heard rain. And they felt, in their body, in their chest, in the slow quieting of their thoughts, something very close to what you feel right now. This is what I want you to hold, before it dissolves into sleep. The extraordinary continuity of this moment. The fact that what you are doing right now, resting in the dark, listening to rain, is something that every human who has ever lived has done. Every grandmother. Every farmer. Every philosopher. Every child. Every king and every servant and every person who was neither, who was simply a person, lying down at the end of the day, hearing rain on whatever roof they had. You are not alone in this moment. You are part of the longest story. Inhale, slowly, consciously. Feel yourself as part of something vast and old. Exhale, and let the vastness hold you, rather than overwhelm you. Let it be a kind of company. Go back 500 years. Somewhere in what is now Germany, a monk in a monastery is in his cell at the end of Compline, the last prayer of the day. The stone walls are thick and cool. The room is small. There is a single candle, nearly burned down, casting barely any light. And outside, rain. The same rain that has been falling since afternoon, the kind of steady autumn rain that makes the garden smell of mud and dying leaves and something darker and richer beneath. The monk has prayed and now he is lying on his simple bed, looking at the ceiling, listening to the rain. He does not need to think about the rain. He has heard this rain 1,000 times. It is as familiar as the prayers themselves, more familiar, perhaps, because the rain precedes the prayers, precedes the monastery, precedes any human structure or intention. The rain simply is, the way God, in his theology, simply is. He closes his eyes, and the rain continues, and sleep comes for him the same way it comes for everyone, gently, from behind, without announcement. Inhale, feel the stillness of that small stone room. Feel its simplicity. Feel the permission it gives. Exhale, let the simplicity be here, too. Here, in your room, in your particular quiet, there is also permission. Go further back. 2,000 years. A farmhouse in 1st century Judea. A family asleep, pressed close for warmth, under rough woolen blankets. Outside, an unexpected winter rain, unusual for this time of year, but welcome, because the cisterns have been low and the fields need watering. The sound of the rain on the flat clay roof is intimate and constant. In the morning they will say that God has sent rain, because in their understanding of the world, all gifts come from God, and rain is the most basic gift of all. But tonight, no one is speaking theology. They are sleeping. Their breath is slow. The rain is falling, and the family is warm, and there is nothing required of them until dawn. Feel how that scene is both distant and close. Distant in time, in culture, in the details of the life, and yet intimate in the essential thing, which is this: people, warm, in the dark, hearing rain, letting go of the day. Inhale, feel the universality of what you are doing. It has no nationality, no religion, no century. It is simply the human act of resting. Exhale, let your body do what human bodies have always done at the end of the day. Let it know, without being told, that it is safe. Go back further. Much further. Before writing, before cities, before farming, before any of the structures that we call civilization. 100,000 years ago. A small group of humans, Homo sapiens, our ancestors, people with the same brain architecture we have, the same emotional range, the same capacity for memory and love and fear, sheltered in a cave or beneath an overhang of rock as the rain falls on the open savanna beyond. They are pressed together, adults and children. The smell of wet earth is overwhelming and familiar. The sound of rain on stone, on grass, on the dry red soil, it is the sound that means shelter is working. The sound that means the hunt is over for today, the danger is reduced, the world is pausing. One by one, they close their eyes. One by one, the slow deep breathing of sleep spreads through the group like a wave. The last one to sleep is listening to the rain, watching the great curtain of it at the cave entrance, and perhaps thinking something, though not in any language we would recognize, something like, good. Rain. Safe. Rest. That person is your ancestor. That moment is your inheritance. That feeling, rain means safe, safe means sleep, is written in your body as surely as anything genetics has written. You have been designed, by 100,000 years of rainy nights, to relax when the rain falls. Inhale, feel that inheritance. Feel the long chain of restful nights that leads, through every generation, to this one. Exhale, and honor it. By resting. By letting yourself do what every version of you, across all of time, has done when the rain falls. Come back now, to more recent times. Your own life. Your own history with rain. There is a rainy night somewhere in your memory, a particular one. Perhaps from childhood, when rain on the window was the signal that the outside world had been cancelled and the inside world was everything. Perhaps from a journey, when rain made a strange place feel intimate and close. Perhaps from a difficult time, when rain was the only sound that didn't hurt, the only sound that matched the feeling of needing everything to stop and be quiet for a while. That rainy night is in you. You carry it the way you carry all your formative experiences, not always consciously, not always accessibly, but present nonetheless. And tonight, that memory and this moment are meeting. The rain you remember and the rain you hear, or imagine, are the same rain, falling through different times, falling on the same soul. Inhale, let the memory come, if it wants to. Let it rest alongside you. Exhale, let it go, when it is ready. It has been here. That is enough. You are part of the longest human story. The story of the night, and the rain, and the body deciding to surrender the day. Monks and farmers and ancient people in ancient caves have all done exactly this. Have all breathed slowly and heard rain and felt the particular grace of being alive and horizontal and warm and no longer required to do anything until morning. You are in that lineage tonight. You are continuing it. And somewhere, 1,000 years from now, someone will lie in the dark and hear rain and be, in that moment, connected to you, the way you are connected now to everyone who came before. Inhale, feel the connection. It is warm, like warmth. It is old, like rain. Exhale, and rest in it. You are held by more than the bed. You are held by all the rainy nights that came before this one. Sleep now. As everyone has. As everyone does. As the rain falls, and the world grows quiet, and the long human story continues, one sleeping breath at a time. Let your body speak now. Not in words. Not in thoughts or plans or memories. Let it speak in the language it actually uses, the language of weight, and warmth, and the slow releasing of held things. We have been traveling tonight through the science and the history and the wonder of rain. Now we are going to arrive somewhere much closer. Here. This body. This bed. This breath. Notice, for a moment, how your body feels without changing it. Simply observe. Notice the weight of your head against the pillow, the full, pleasant weight of it, the way the pillow receives it, the gentle impression it makes. Your head is heavy. Let it be heavy. Notice your shoulders. Are they touching the mattress? Are they slightly lifted, slightly braced, the habitual bracing of a body that spends its days upright, vigilant, in motion? If they are, you do not need to force them down. Simply give them permission. Simply say, wordlessly, from somewhere deep inside, you can let go now. We are done for today. Inhale, slowly, filling the lungs. Feel the chest rise and the shoulder blades press gently into the mattress. Let that contact be real. Let it be grounding. Exhale, let the shoulders sink. Not by effort, by release. The difference between effort and release is everything. Effort is the same as holding. Release is letting the weight do what weight naturally does, which is settle, which is fall, which is rest. Your arms. Wherever they are, at your sides, across your chest, resting on the blanket, let them be heavy now. Feel the weight of them. Each arm weighs, in reality, somewhere between 5 and 8 pounds. That is real weight. That is significant weight. And you have been holding it all day, carrying it, swinging it, reaching with it, typing with it, gripping things with it. Let it rest now. Let the mattress carry it. Let the arms be as heavy as they actually are, and feel how good that heaviness is when you no longer have to manage it. Imagine rain falling on a still lake. Each drop hitting the surface and sending out a ring, a perfect, widening ring that travels outward and fades. And then another drop, and another ring. And the rings from different drops meet and overlap and interfere with each other in patterns too complex to track, and eventually the surface of the lake is covered in an infinite, shifting pattern of rings within rings within rings, each one fading before it reaches the shore. Your body is the lake. Each breath is a drop. Each exhale sends a ring of relaxation outward from the center, from the chest, where the breath begins, outward to the shoulders, the arms, the hands. Outward to the belly, the hips, the thighs. Outward to the knees, the calves, the feet. Inhale, feel the drop fall. Feel the breath begin its outward movement. Exhale, and let the ring expand. Shoulders, arms, hands, belly, hips. All of it softening outward from the center. Now your hands. Open them, if they are closed. Or leave them as they are, but notice them. Notice the fingers. Each finger has its own weight, its own temperature, its own small pulse, if you pay close enough attention. You do not have to pay that close attention tonight. But notice that your hands exist, and that they have worked all day, and that now they can rest completely. Imagine placing your hands on the surface of water, warm water, a shallow pool in sunlight, or a bath that is exactly the right temperature. Feel the water receive your hands, feel the slight buoyancy, feel the warmth moving from the water into your palms and up through your fingers. That is approximately what the bed is doing right now, receiving your hands, your arms, your whole body. Receiving your weight without complaint, without effort, with only the simple fact of being there. Move your attention downward. To your belly. Let your belly be soft. This is, for many of us, an instruction that requires some undoing. We spend much of our waking lives holding the belly in, bracing it, keeping it contained. Release that now. Let the belly be as round and soft as it wants to be. Let it rise on the inhale and fall on the exhale without management, without control, without any instruction from you. Inhale, let the belly rise. Feel how it lifts, how it expands, how it makes room for the breath. Exhale, let the belly fall. Feel the gentle collapse, the pleasant sinking. Let it be completely soft. This softness in the belly, this willingness to let the belly be round and unbraced and free, is, neuroscientists tell us, deeply connected to the state of the vagal nerve. The vagus nerve runs from the brain stem through the chest and down through the abdomen, and it is the great regulator of the parasympathetic system, the rest and digest system, the opposite of fight or flight. When the belly is soft, the vagus nerve communicates ease to the brain. When the belly is braced, the brain reads vigilance. Soft belly is the body's own signal to itself, we are safe. We can rest. You are safe. Your belly is soft. Your brain is receiving the message. Inhale, and feel the vagal ease spread upward from the belly. Calm in the stomach. Calm in the chest. Calm reaching all the way up to the jaw, the brow, the space between the eyes. Exhale, and let the calm settle into the hips. The deep muscles of the pelvis, the sacrum, the lower back. These muscles hold the architecture of the whole upper body. They have been working since you stood up this morning. Let them release now. Not all at once, not dramatically. Simply permission. Simply, you can rest now. We are horizontal. Your job is done. Your legs. They are longer than you sometimes remember. From hip to knee, knee to ankle, ankle to toe, that is a considerable distance, and all of it can be heavy, all of it can be warm, all of it can be still. Let your legs be separate from each other, not pressed together, not crossed, simply lying beside each other with a comfortable distance between them. Feel the weight of each thigh. Feel the backs of the knees touching the mattress. Feel the calves, the Achilles, the heels. Your feet. The soles of your feet, which have carried you everywhere today, which have been the literal foundation of all your movement, let them relax completely. Let the toes uncurl, if they were curled. Let the arches release their slight tension. Feel the feet as they are, heavy, warm, still. Inhale, feel the breath moving through your entire body. From the crown of your head to the soles of your feet, you are breathing. All of it alive. All of it warm. All of it resting. Exhale, and feel the body as one continuous warm thing, one long heavy gentle form, receiving the weight of the day and releasing it, receiving the breath and releasing it, receiving the dark and releasing the last hold on waking. Rain falls on the roof above you, or you imagine it falling, which is the same. Each drop arrives and is absorbed. The earth receives it. Nothing resists. The water and the earth meet without effort, and the water gives up its falling and becomes part of the ground, part of the still, quiet deep of the earth. You are the earth tonight. The breath falls into you and you receive it. The warmth falls into you and you receive it. The dark falls into you and you receive it. And sleep falls into you like rain falls into the waiting earth. Gently. Completely. Without resistance. You are heavy as a rain cloud. You are soft as mist. And you are falling, slowly, beautifully, toward the deep and quiet ground of sleep. Inhale, one last breath. Draw it into the very bottom of the lungs. Exhale, and let everything go. Everything. For now. Just for now. Let it all be set down. You are resting. You are rain heavy. You are here. And sleep is arriving. Let your thoughts become rain. Not loud rain. Not the rain that demands attention, that arrives in storms and floods and drama. Quiet rain. The kind that falls so softly you can barely tell it is falling, the kind that you notice only because the air has changed, because the world has softened, because everything is slightly more still than it was a moment ago. Let your thoughts be that kind of rain. Let them fall without urgency. Let each one appear and fall and be absorbed, without needing to be caught or examined or acted on or worried over. There will be time for thoughts tomorrow. Tomorrow is exactly the right time for thoughts. Tonight is the right time for this, for letting them fall. Inhale, slowly. Let the breath be the last conscious thing. Let it move through you like rain moves through air, gentle, purposeful, unhurried. Exhale, and feel the thought that was most present in your mind, whatever it was, the thing that came back to you during dinner, or before you lay down, or just a moment ago, feel it soften at the edges. Feel it become less sharp, less urgent, less demanding. Feel it become, just for now, simply weather. Simply something passing through. The mind at the edge of sleep is a remarkable place. Not the mind that thinks, not the mind that plans and analyzes and worries and remembers. That mind is already growing quieter, already receding, already becoming less itself and more something else, something looser and wider and harder to name. This other mind, the mind at the edge, does not work by logic. It works by image, by feeling, by association. A thought becomes a picture, becomes a texture, becomes a sound. The room becomes something else. The ceiling becomes something else. The ordinary world becomes permeable, soft, full of possible doors. You may have already noticed this happening. The way a sentence I spoke earlier seemed to blur slightly, or drift, or combine with something else, something from your own mind, your own store of images and feelings and dreams in waiting. That is exactly right. That is the beautiful confusion of the threshold. Do not pull back from it. Follow it forward. Inhale, let the breath be the last rope connecting you to the waking world. Hold it for just a moment. Feel it in your chest, real and solid. Exhale, and let the rope lengthen. You are still connected, but more loosely now. The waking world is still there, but further away, softer at the edges. Imagine standing at the edge of a lake after rain. The rain has just stopped. The surface of the lake is covered in the last rings from the last drops, ring inside ring, fading, settling, the water returning to stillness. You are watching those rings fade. Each ring is a thought. Each one complete, each one traveling its small circle, each one becoming less and less until it is gone, and the surface is smooth again, and the next thought makes its small ring, and that too fades, and the surface is smooth again. You can watch this without needing to do anything about it. The rings do not need managing. The thoughts do not need resolving. They appear. They spread. They fade. The lake receives them all and is changed by none of them. The lake is simply the lake, deep and still beneath all the rings, deep and still beneath all the weather. You are the lake. The thoughts are the rings. Let them come. Let them go. The depth of you is untouched. Inhale, a soft breath. Not a full breath, not a measuring breath. A soft, barely conscious breath. Exhale, slowly, slowly, let the exhale drift on longer than seems necessary. Let it trail away. Let it become almost nothing. Perhaps an image is forming now, as the thoughts grow lighter and the mind grows less structured. Perhaps a face, briefly, someone you love, or someone unexpected, someone from a long time ago. Perhaps a place, a room, or an outdoor place, somewhere with a particular quality of light or air. Perhaps a color, simply, with no attached meaning. These are the early images of sleep, not yet dreams, not yet the vivid, narrative world of REM sleep, but the first soft sketches, the first indications that something is being prepared behind the scenes of the mind. Let them come. Do not reach for them or try to hold them. They are like clouds passing, they look interesting for a moment, and then they shift and change and become something else, and that something else shifts and changes, and the whole movement is so slow and easy that you are already half somewhere else by the time you notice that the first image is gone. This is called hypnagogia, the state of consciousness between waking and sleep. Artists and scientists have reported extraordinary experiences in this state. Ideas that could not be reached in ordinary waking thought suddenly surface here, in the soft confusion, where the rules of logic are relaxed and associations are free to follow their own paths. But you do not need to catch those ideas tonight. You do not need to hold them. Tonight, the hypnagogic state is not a creative resource, it is a corridor. A corridor that leads gently from here to the room of sleep, and all you need to do is walk through it. Inhale, barely. Almost not at all. Just enough. Exhale, let the breath go before it is ready. Let the pause at the end of the exhale last a little longer. In that pause, in that comfortable space between one breath and the next, is where sleep lives. The rain outside, or the rain in your mind, is still falling. But perhaps you have stopped hearing it as rain, precisely. Perhaps it has become something else, a sound that is also a feeling, a texture that is also a color, something that is simultaneously the rain and the feeling of rain in something that has no name but is right, that is exactly right, that is the sound and the feeling and the atmosphere of this particular night, this particular rest, this particular deepening. Let the words I am speaking become part of that, not separate from the dream beginning, but part of it. Let my voice be like the rain, part of the texture of the night, part of the soft continuous presence that holds you as you drift. You do not need to follow the words. You do not need to remember them. They are doing their work without your attention. Your attention is free now. Free to drift. Free to follow the images that are forming. Free to release the last small grip of waking life, the small grip that has been loosening all through this night, that is now, finally, so loose that it is barely there, that is more like an impression of a grip than a grip itself, a memory of holding rather than the holding itself. Let it go. Let it be gone. Inhale, so softly you can barely tell you are inhaling. Feel the breath arrive like a thought that arrives at the edge of sleep, gently, from nowhere, already half dissolved. Exhale, and let the thought dissolve completely. Let the rain carry it. Let the rain carry everything you no longer need, the replayed conversations, the half-formed plans, the things you forgot to do and will remember tomorrow, the things you did do and are wondering if you did right. Let the rain take all of it, absorb it, the way the earth absorbs rain, without drama, without effort, simply receiving. The rain carries your thoughts away. And what is left, when the thoughts have gone, when the last small grip has released, when the breath has found its deepest, slowest rhythm, what is left is you. Simply you. Warm and still and breathing. The oldest, simplest version of you, before all the thoughts and plans and identities. The version that has been doing this breathing, this resting, this returning, since the very first night of your life. That version needs nothing. It is already home. It is already where it needs to be. Sleep is already here. It has been here for some time, waiting quietly at the edge, waiting for the thoughts to clear enough to see it. And now they have cleared, and sleep is visible, and it is not a foreign country, it is the most familiar place. The place that knows you completely. The place you visit every night without effort, that receives you without condition, that gives back what the day has taken and asks nothing in return. Inhale, the softest breath. A dream breath. Exhale, and arrive. You are already there. The rain falls. The thoughts are gone. And you are sleeping.